In today's video, we are going to watch how Will Smith takes on his different roles in Aladdin, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Pursuit of Happiness, as well as how he acts in multiple different interviews. We are going to go over English pronunciation, a few grammar structures, some vocabulary, and English-speaking mannerisms that Will Smith does that you can learn from. First, let's take a look at Will Smith in this scene from The Pursuit of Happiness.
Couple doctor's offices, got sales calls, okay?
Okay.
Then possibly we'll go to the football game.
Really?
Possibly. All right?
All right.
With this scene, I want you to notice how Will Smith speaks. First, he's listing things in a lower tone, indicating that what he's talking about is not that fun. It's more mundane, boring things. Doctor's offices, sales calls, not that fun. But then he goes on to say,
Then possibly we'll go to the football game.
Here, his tone goes up because he's talking about something good. Then possibly we'll go to the football game. It's exciting, not a boring, mundane task. And just so you know, possibly simply means maybe. Us native English speakers are very expressive when we speak, and our tone changes depending on whether something's exciting or mundane and boring, or even angry. Watch how Will Smith's tone changes as he speaks in this scene from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. First, we have a happy Will Smith.
Man, this is an embarrassment of riches. But what about me? Oh, you're just an embarrassment, man.
Notice how his tone is very light and almost high-pitched. Now, let's take a look at angry Will Smith in this scene.
Freeze! Don't be coming over here with no attitude. This ain't my fault.
Oh, whose was it then?
Well, yours.
What?
You heard me. I'm saying, you know I can't be trusted. You wouldn't have left me here alone, none of this mess would ever happen.
That's it. I didn't come all the way here from Philly to
Oh,
hear
well, it's gonna have to be it. Don't be all up in my grill. Don't be all up in my grill.
You need to
Excuse me. You know what? You ain't never gonna change. I'm getting the last word. Oh, no, you not. Oh, yes, I am. Damn.
Don't worry. You aren't meant to understand all of that. It was very fast and people were talking over each other. But can you tell the tone difference that Will Smith has here? His voice raises, it gets louder, and he ends up saying a lot of statements in the imperative form, like the following.
Freeze. Don't be coming over here with no attitude.
Right after saying that line, he goes ahead and says,
This ain't my fault.
Oh.
Ain't is a contraction that means is not, am not, are not, has not, or have not, depending on the circumstance. And if we click on the grammar tip right here, we learn that it's informal, but occurs in several regional dialects of English. Again, this is informal, so only use it in informal situations with family and friends. Not in any work situations. Just don't. Speaking of work situations though, let's see how Will Smith acts in this next scene versus the one I just showed you.
How are you? Good morning. Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner, good to see you again. Chris Gardner, pleasure. I've been sitting out there for the last half hour trying to come up with a story that would explain my being here dressed like this. And I wanted to come up with a story that would demonstrate qualities that I'm sure you all admire here, like earnestness or diligence and team playing to something. And I couldn't think of anything.
Here Will Smith is playing a character desperate for a job. He's at a job interview and he's using formal English greetings at the beginning while shaking everyone's hands. He says, "How are you? Good morning. Good to see you again. Pleasure." Pleasure means a source of enjoyment, and in this case, it's kind of being used as, "It's a pleasure to meet you." This is very formal English. And all during the rest of this clip, Will Smith is using educated and advanced English. Here we have the word demonstrate, which means to show clearly and deliberately. For example, this book demonstrates the procedure. And then we have the word qualities, which means how something is distinguished. A trait. And near the end of the sentence, we have the word admire, which is a more formal way to say respect. But it's not just the vocabulary that's important here. Look at how he's very engaged when he's speaking. He's leaning forward and he's gesturing a lot with his hands. I don't know if you've noticed this in my videos, but I tend to use my hands to gesture a lot. You don't want to go overboard with the gestures, but a few gestures every now and again can show that you are engaged in what you're saying and expressive. And we love that here in America. The platform I use to go over the vocabulary in that last clip, by the way, is FluentU. It's great if you want to learn English through real-world content and other celebrities. If you want to go through that video lesson in more detail and take a quiz afterwards, I have a free trial of FluentU just for you in the description below. Now, let's take some time to watch Will Smith on an interview with Ellen. Try to notice his gestures, and Ellen's as well, and then we will break down the clip a bit more.
You know, so I started training. I'm 46 now, so it's a little harder to hold on to.
Yeah, it's hard to, well, when you lose it, it's hard to get back to it. That's why it's important to hold on to, so you don't have to get back to it. But you really do. You look better now than you've ever looked. Don't you think?
Thank you.
Don't you agree?
I feel better. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Here in this clip, they mention holding on to something, right? If you look at the context, here they are talking about Will Smith's physique and his muscles, his health basically, and looking good. Will Smith is saying that at his age, it's difficult to keep up his good looks and his muscle. And they're using the phrasal verb hold on to talk about it. And then in the clip, Ellen goes on to say,
but you really do. You look better now than you've ever looked. Don't you think?
Thank you.
She says, you look better now than you've ever looked. This is a sentence pattern that is really fun. Saying you look better than you've ever looked means that the person has never looked as good as they do right now. And you can use this sentence pattern for all sorts of things. You can say things like, you sing better now than you ever have before. Or she runs faster now than she ever has before. Or maybe, I speak English better now than I ever have before. So it's a fun sentence pattern to keep in mind. By the way, if you're liking this video so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let me know. Now let's move on to one of my favorite characters that Will Smith has played before. And it's the genie from Aladdin. Let's watch part of this trailer and go over some key vocabulary.
Hey, can you make me a prince?
There is a lot of gray area in make me a prince. I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Y'all see my palace?
You look like a prince on the outside, but I didn't change anything on the inside. Showtime.
No, I'm in charge, okay? I say when it's time. Really?
Here we have the term gray area, which is an idiom meaning an uncertain or undefined situation or field. When Aladdin is saying, make me a prince, Will Smith, as the genie, is using this idiom to explain that what Aladdin said is not clear enough. It isn't specific, it's undefined. And then he goes on to prove that in the next part of the clip.
I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Y'all see my palace?
Aladdin meant that he wanted to become a prince. He didn't want the genie to create a prince for him. That's why he used the idiom gray area there. Next, Will Smith says, I didn't change anything on the inside. Inside does mean the inner or interior place. But in this context, he's talking about inside of Aladdin, his heart and who he really is. A lot of the times in America, we do say it's what's on the inside that counts. And when we say that, we mean the qualities and characteristics that make up a person, not their literal insides. That would be really weird. The last vocabulary word that I want to point out here is showtime. When someone says showtime, it means an event or activity is about to start. While this phrase does literally mean to start a production or a performance of some kind, you can say it with friends on certain occasions. Maybe you and your friends are about to go in and take a test that you've studied so long for. You could tell them, all right guys, it's showtime. Or maybe you're with your team and you're about to present a project to your boss or a proposal for a project. You can tell your coworkers, all right, everyone, it's showtime. right before you go in. These are the types of situations that Showtime can be used in. Now let's finish everything off with a quick quiz based on everything I talked about in the video. First, true or false? Americans are not very expressive when they speak English. Second, fill in the blank. And third, what did you learn from the way Will Smith speaks English that you want to apply into your own English speaking? Put your answer in the comments below. Also put down your favorite Will Smith character while you're at it. If you want to review everything that I went over in this video, I made a free PDF of this video in the description below, where I put all of these English tips plus the links to the videos that I used. Now, I have the perfect video for you to check out next. You know that Will Smith interview scene that I put in this video? Well, we have a full video where we break down that entire scene. It's very helpful for developing your English skills, and I think you will really enjoy it.